Today, we're talking about something huge: how to actually create better opportunities for yourself. We're going to frame this as you becoming the architect of your own future. Yeah, you get to design and build the life you want, literally brick by brick. So let me ask you something. Do you ever feel kind of stuck? Like you're just waiting for something good to happen? Or maybe you look around and see other people getting these amazing chances, and you're wondering, hey, what about me? Look, it's a super common feeling, but here's the thing, and this is the good news. You absolutely have the power to change that. And here's the secret, if you can even call it that. Getting those better opportunities, it's not about luck, it's not magic, it's a process. It's a deliberate act of design and construction. And guess who's holding the blueprints and all the tools? Yeah, you are. Okay, so just like any great building, it all starts with a blueprint, right? For us, that blueprint is all about getting our mindset and our vision right before we start hammering a single nail. This is the foundation, and you can't skip it. And the absolute cornerstone of that foundation is having a growth mindset. Just look at this comparison. It's amazing how one little word, yet, can change everything. A fixed mindset hits a wall and says, I can't do this. Game over. But a growth mindset, it sees that same wall and says, I can't do this yet. It sees a climbing wall, an opportunity. Failure isn't the end of the road, it's just a lesson. It's your brain asking, okay, what can we learn here? Seriously, believing that you can improve is probably the most important tool you'll ever have. Okay, so once you've got that growth mindset locked in, it's time to start drafting that personal blueprint. And hey, let's not start with boring stuff like job titles. Let's think bigger. Ask yourself this: who do I really want to become? What kind of person do I want to be known as? Are you the dependable one, the super creative one, a leader? And then let's drill down a bit. What skills will that future version of you have? What are you going to master? Do you want to be an amazing communicator, someone who can just captivate a room? A brilliant coder? Maybe an incredible artist? The more specific you get right now, the clearer the path forward becomes. And last piece of the blueprint, what's the actual goal? What kind of opportunities are we talking about here? Is it landing a specific career? Getting a chance to launch that creative project you've been dreaming about? Or maybe it's getting into a top school. When you define this stuff clearly, it makes all your small daily choices, well, a whole lot easier. All right, blueprint is drafted. Now it's time to start building. But we're not starting with the walls or the roof. We're starting with the internal structure. This is all about forging your character, your discipline, your confidence, the steel beams that will support everything else. Now, when I say self-discipline, don't freak out. This isn't about being some super strict, harsh person. Not at all. It's about something much simpler and honestly, much more powerful: consistency. It's just showing up for yourself, especially on the days you really don't feel like it. Think about it. Every tiny promise you keep to yourself, like, I'm going to practice guitar for just 10 minutes, builds this incredible trust in your own ability to get things done. And that consistency, it's the fuel for real confidence. See, you can't just sit in a room and think your way into being confident. It doesn't work like that. It has to be built. It's the result of this really simple loop. You set a small, totally achievable goal, you do it. Then you take a second to acknowledge, hey, I did that. And then you repeat. Every single time you go through that cycle, you're laying another brick in your foundation of confidence. This is so, so important, so let me say it again. You don't wait to feel confident before you start. You have to start in order to feel confident. Action creates the feeling, not the other way around. Okay, let's talk about a genuine life power-up: emotional maturity. What is it? It's your ability to handle stress, to deal with challenges, and to not completely lose your cool when things go wrong. Why does this matter so much? Because the people who are dependable, the ones who are level-headed, those are the people who get trusted with the really big, exciting opportunities. It's an absolute superpower. So, our inner foundation is solid, the steel beams are in place. Now we can start building our external toolkit. These are the practical skills, the connections, all the stuff that helps you interact with the world and actually create value for other people. Because here's the deal: opportunities flow to people who provide value. And value comes from having useful skills. But I'm not just talking about any old skills. I'm talking about what you might call meta skills. Things like communication, problem solving, creativity, digital literacy. These aren't just for one specific job. They are force multipliers. They make you better and more adaptable in pretty much any situation you'll ever find yourself in.
And another huge tool in that external toolkit is networking. I know, the word can sound kind of cringy and intimidating, but forget the corporate schmoozing stuff. It's really just about connecting with people. And the real secret? Focus on contributing, not on taking. Join a club or an online community. Share what you're working on. Help people out without expecting anything back. People always remember the person who adds value. And that, my friends, is how opportunities are born.
Okay, deep breath. We've got the blueprint, we've built the inner foundation, we've assembled the outer tools. Now comes the most important part of all, putting it all into motion. This is the launch sequence. And I cannot stress this enough. You cannot wait until you feel 100% ready. That day is a myth. It's never going to come. You have to start right now with whatever you have. Action is what gets the flywheel spinning. It might be tough at first, but once it's in motion, it creates its own momentum. And that momentum is what starts pulling opportunities towards you, not the other way around. So what drives that action? A huge part of it is just plain old curiosity. And you can totally cultivate this. Just start asking more questions. Pick up a weird new hobby. Read a book or watch a documentary on a subject you know nothing about. People who stay curious are always learning, and that curiosity leads them down these interesting, unexpected paths. Paths where they find opportunities that everyone else just walks right past. And as you're out there taking action and attracting all these new opportunities, there's one thing you can't forget: your foundation. Your core values, things like honesty, integrity, respect, they're like your personal North Star. They're what makes sure that the life you're building isn't just successful on the outside, but that it's also meaningful and sustainable for you on the inside. So when you put this whole thing together, you basically get this simple but super powerful formula for your own evolution. Check it out. It all starts with that growth mindset. Then you add useful skills and you do it with consistency. That consistency builds real earned confidence. And finally, you light the fuse with action. And the result? You guessed it. Bigger and better opportunities start showing up at your door. And that's pretty much the whole blueprint. The entire plan is laid out right in front of you. But, a plan is just a piece of paper, or a screen in this case, without that very first step. So I'll leave you with this question. What's the first brick you're going to lay? What is the one small, simple action you can take today to start building that future for yourself?